Hi, this is Brian from Paradise Arcade Shop. This is a continuation of our LED button video. Most of the domestic competitors were represented in the last video, but we actually had an opportunity to get a few buttons from another competitor, and I wanted to show the difference. Now, I purposely don't mention specific competitors here, but at this point I think we've actually tested everybody's LED, and it's interesting because this particular competitor shows our LED button on their website, but then when they ship a different button. Now, what does that mean? If you watch the last video, you'd see how the LEDs are held a little bit closer to the surface, making the cone smaller, as well as the brittleness of the plastic on the base. So how can you tell? One thing that's interesting here is that if you look at this tab and this tab are on opposite sides. So these are both placed the same way. Both of these tabs should be on this side if they were the same button, but they're not. They're on opposite sides. Now, what's interesting to me is when I first saw this competitor's buttons, I almost didn't order any because they were identical to ours. The tab was on this side. But what we found when we actually got them in is it's over here. Now, what's the problem with that? Does it matter which side the tab's on? No, they still fit the micro switches and everything works. But what's happening here is there's a discontinuity between what they're showing, maybe what's being ordered, and what's being delivered. So the consistency is something that's an issue. And especially when you're working with the Asian companies, consistency is a big issue. You need to make sure you're getting the same thing every time. And this is something that we learned because we used to get these buttons and we had a couple of problems with them. And so we stopped carrying them. And actually our distributors are very, very specific about what we receive. We go to great ends to make sure that we get them. Another thing that you can tell here, let me just move this around here. It's Hawaii, so there's a lot of chopsticks in this area. The ridge here is different there and there, so there's no ridge. If you look at it, it's kind of hard to see with the black, but you can see these little ridges there, and there's none on that side. Also, the slot here is a different shape. The other issue is that these are just, if you look at the last one, they're a cheaper build. If I flip these over here, you can kind of see that the plastic just in the shape, let me get that there, see if it'll stay, there we go. So if you look at this, you can kind of see these curves here. They're not super easy to see, but this is gusseted onto the piece here, so there's a little relief there, a little diagonal, and this is a lot thicker in this area. It offers a lot more strength. If you look at these here, because that bends significantly, it's a sharp corner creating a stress riser, and there isn't a lot of material there. Will they work as buttons? Yes. Will you have some problems with them? We found that we had maybe 1 to 5% breakage of these tabs off, and that they're sometimes hard to get in and out, but that's what it is. Now, interestingly enough, I'll do this on this video too. If you take our buttons and you bend these tabs over, you can bend the tab all the way over to the other side without it breaking. If you take the competitive tab, and I know that's excessive, you start to bend and they pop. So that's, I mean, that's a big difference. So just a little bit more information. I think consistency is a good thing. I think that showing on your website what you're selling is important, and I just want people to be aware that not all LED buttons are created the same despite what's being shown. So if you want something consistent, you can come to us. This is the same lamp holder base that you've been getting for the last year. It's about 1.5 years ago that we dealt in these for one batch, and when we found the differences, it's when we started to get very tight on all of our controls. So thank you, have a great day, and hope everything's going well. You can always visit us at www.paradisearcadeshop, and I'm Brian. You can get me at Brian at Paradise Arcade Shop. Thanks for listening.